fast-moving thunderstorms swept across the Las Vegas Valley on 1st September, causing flash flooding along parts of the Las Vegas Strip as the region braced for more rain into 2nd of September. The National Weather Service reported that 1.14 inches of rain fell on 1st of September in Boulder City, Nevada, about 26 miles southeast of Las Vegas. Just over an inch of rain fell near Interstate 15 at Charleston Boulevard, just north of Harry Reid International Airport, according to the Weather Service.
Because I was pushing through just like how the truck did, and then all of a sudden it just said, zoop, and then I hit the gas again and said, zoop, zoop, and then next thing I know it locked up.
Another stuck driver trying to dry parts of his engine.
Right now the filter is fueling the water inside. The other filter, put it over there, is a lot of water. The problem is it's too deep.
Which said a flash flood warning was in effect for the area until 2nd of September night. Heavy flooding about 10 miles north of the center of the Las Vegas Strip resulted in at least one driver being rescued from a car and others abandoning their vehicles below overpasses, according to local news reports. A spokesman for the city said there were no reports of rescues or major incidents. Early on 1st of September, the city of Las Vegas advised residents to be careful during the morning commute and not to drive through flooded areas or wander into flood channels or basins. One video circulating on social media showed water gushing into a channel outside the Link Hotel and Casino on the Strip. Flash flood warnings were in effect for part of Clark County, which includes Las Vegas, as well as for parts of Nye and Lincoln counties in Nevada, San Bernardino County in California, and Mojave County in Arizona. In addition to heavy rain, the National Weather Service said
a couple of these little boulders were flying around last night. Yeah, they were in the middle of the street when I went to the store last night, and I picked them up. Me and my brothers were picking them up, bringing them back to the sidewalks.
As for assistance, the management team at the apartment complex and the Red Cross took charge, providing temporary housing for those affected.
The Red Cross was here. I did see them around talking to a couple people, and thankfully that they did help out a lot of people.
They put us in a weekly for right now. They said they're going to pay it up for us, so that's pretty good.
Dangerous lightning and gusty winds can be expected. A separate flash flood warning for the southwest, lasting until 8:30 p.m., was issued by the NWS for the areas around Ludlow and Amboy and Clark County areas, including Jean, Primm, and Boulder City, which sit close to the state line with California. The NWS said on 2nd of September that heavy rain fell around the border with Arizona, with half an inch of rain recorded in just 15 minutes in some areas. The deluge came just a week after an earlier round of storms inundated the Las Vegas Strip, bringing flooding, and some rain damaged at least one resort, the Harrah's Hotel and Casino, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reported. Monsoon season in Las Vegas typically lasts from June to mid-September, as the land heats up and humid air moves inland from the Pacific Ocean. The Review-Journal reported that the summer of 2022 was the wettest monsoon season in at least a decade. Las Vegas residents on 3rd of September were drying out after 2 days of heavy rainfall that flooded streets, prompted various water rescues, shut down a portion of Interstate 15 south of the city, and possibly resulted in at least one death. A marginal risk for excessive rainfall was expected on...
When I was a kid at 69, it flooded this house out. No, this year it's, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times now.
San Bernardino County has declared a local emergency declaration. We've seen many driveways that have been blocked by mud and debris. The good news is everyone is okay in Oak Glen.
3rd of September before conditions were likely to dry out for the rest of the week, according to the National Weather Service. On 2nd of September morning, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue found a body in northwest Las Vegas of an individual believed to have drowned after being reported by bystanders as having been swept away by moving water, KSNV reported. A cause of death and the name of person were not immediately released by authorities. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue posted 3rd September on X, formerly Twitter, that they responded to 24 swift water rescue incidents, which
Public Works patched up an 8-foot wide sinkhole near Jones and Gunderson. County staff say they responded to 11 calls for water rescue. Deb Meadow got stuck on her way to work on Decatur and Sahara, though her car wasn't submerged like the white car.
Included 30 to 35 vehicles, stranded in the water, and 10 to 12 people rescued from standing or moving water. Several drivers found themselves in hot water on 1st September as heavy rainfall caused flooding across the Las Vegas Valley. At the intersection of Cheyenne Avenue and North Las Vegas Boulevard, cars stalled out in standing water. Workers at the nearby Rebel convenience store, Theresa Nealis and Michelle Good, said they have dealt with flooding before, but 1st of September's rainfall seemed to be the worst. The cafe, the bathroom, the office was all flooded, Nealis said. Las Vegas
morning, and we've seen many first responder cars coming through, but over the weekend out. Now firefighters and paramedics have had medical gear, food and water, and were flown in by helicopter overnight with the people who remained there. Approximately 30 people were stuck on the opposite bank of the river because of the storm, and yesterday morning swift water rescue teams decided that water rescues would be way too dangerous.
Resident Mary Bees McGee had her vehicle stalled in the flooding on Cheyenne Avenue and had to call paramedics to help her get to a dry area. It was crazy. I don't walk really well, so just trying to get out of the car, I couldn't do that. I had to call paramedics, said McGee. It's just scary. Many drivers pulled into the Wendy's parking lot near the intersection to seek help and call for towing. Las Vegas resident Eric Thomas was one of them. After his vehicle stalled in the water, he jumped in to push another stalled vehicle to safety. I just saw the lady and the kid and was worried about the kid at first, said Thomas. Just stop and don't drive, it's not worth it. Some casinos in the city are now grappling with indoor waterfalls.
Of rain to the city. Take a look at this. The parking desk at the Link Hotel and Casino partially submerged under Baja California Peninsula, where nearly 1,900 people were evacuated to shelters. That's according to the country's army there in Mexico, affecting states as far north as Oregon and, of course, right here in Idaho, as we have seen this week.
Videos and photos of floodwaters sweeping through the gambling capital of the world have been posted on social media. One video, shared 2nd September evening by sports podcast host Matt Peralt, shows casino workers using tarps and buckets to protect slot machines from water spilling from the ceiling. The stormy conditions made for a rough start to Labor Day weekend travel at Harry Reid International Airport. As of about 5:45 p.m., at least 673 flights were delayed, and another 108 flights had been cancelled due to the poor weather conditions. Officials warned the public not to try to cross flooded roads.
As soon as the door opened and the water started pouring in and it's rising and rising, I'm freaking out.
After she says this nearby flood channel overflowed and tore her backyard wall apart.
This is the bottom of the wall. This is the footing. It was up there. They said we don't have flood insurance, so there's nothing they can do for us.
Her family's insurance policy doesn't have flood coverage.
A lot of my paperwork is gone. It was underwater, so I don't know if I have the paperwork or not.
6 inches of standing water is enough to sweep a grown adult off their feet, and 18 inches of water is enough to carry away a car. Local news stations have shared harrowing images, including a driver being rescued from a floodwater-surrounded car and others abandoning vehicles on overpasses. The National Weather Service said 3rd September that 2.55 inches of rain were recorded at the airport. Las Vegas has already seen 3.99 inches of rain so far in 2023, which is 1.17 inches above normal and only 0.19 inches below the city's normal annual precipitation, the National Weather Service said. Over the last 2 days, some areas in and around Las Vegas got more than 3 inches, 7.6 centimeters of rain, according to...
I kept thinking in my mind, turn around, don't drown, but it was too late.
She says Las Vegas Fire and Rescue got her out.
Data from the Clark County Regional Flood Control District. Las Vegas is up to 3.9 inches, 9.9 centimeters of rain for 2023, which is 1.2 inches, 3 centimeters above normal and only 0.19 inches, 0.48 centimeters below the city's normal annual precipitation, according to the Weather Service. The city had already been hit last month with rain from Tropical Storm Hilary that covered the Las Vegas Strip and prompted several water rescues. Besides flooding streets and sidewalks in Las Vegas, the heavy rainfall had also closed down all lanes of I-15 south of Jane. But officials announced late 2nd September night that all lanes on the freeway were once again open.
Around a lot of tree bark, a lot of trash, a lot of plastic bags, paper bags.
It was devastating to see, and
Jenna Victor, who's lived here since 2019, says the street connecting the shores was closed after water flowed over.
It was absolutely all the way to the other edge, covered in coolers, styrofoam, lawn debris, as well as trees and things of that nature.
A flood watch remained in effect through 4th September morning for portions of eastern, north-central, northeast, and south-central Nevada, according to the Weather Service. Dramatic footage circulating online shows cars struggling to move against floods around Las Vegas after heavy rain hammered parts of the Nevada city ahead of the weekend. Several clips posted to X show cars partly submerged in.
And I told my kids to come inside because the rain was real hard out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden we go in our house, the water started rising up from our doors.
Tania Brown is just happy to be safe with her family.
The front of our house is flooded.
As this weekend's weather wreaked havoc on her apartment complex located on the east side of the valley.
It was just coming in so fast and so thick.
This is video from inside her apartment where you can see water all over the floor. And Tania says several of her neighbors experienced more than just flood damage.
Fast-moving floods, with some vehicles battling against the oncoming water. In another clip, a bus can be seen making its way through water high enough to cover the vehicle's wheels. A 13-year-old boy drowned over the weekend in floodwaters amid a series of the late summer storms. The teenager was identified on 4th September by the Clark County Coroner's Office as Ryan Taylor of Las Vegas. His death was ruled an accidental drowning. The coroner's office said Ryan had been floating in floodwater on an inner tube when he drowned. Further details weren't released, but the office said in a statement that the teen was found injured 2nd of September afternoon near a busy intersection about 8 miles, 12 kilometers east of the Las Vegas Strip.
The last 23 years, we haven't seen this much of a demand for a single weekend at least, with all the towing, raining, and all the flooding. It would be more front ends of vehicle, more towards the engine.
As for the number of calls Go and Go Towing received, Brian tells me between Friday and Sunday, it was close to 150 calls, with most of these cars able to be saved and not a total loss.
He was hospitalized and died in the early morning hours on 3rd of September. We wish to extend our sincere condolences to Ryan's family and friends, the coroner's office said. Flamingo Road near US Highway 95 also experienced flooding that closed lanes 2nd of September night, but the road reopened around 1 a.m. 3rd of September. Flamingo Road near Nellis Boulevard was also closed for an hour from flooding 2nd September night, but reopened around 9 p.m. Spring Mountains residents still recovering.
And we heard our upstairs neighbors, they were screaming because their roof was caving in. So, and because they come from upstairs, everything that was happening from their house was coming to our house.
Other neighbors sharing what they saw as the rushing water and wind moved things quickly.
The trash can was in one place over here. The water and the wind, everything else moved it right by the rest of the car.
From heavy rainfall from Tropical Storm Hillary that caused major damage to Carl Canyon, Lee Canyon, and Deer Creek roads. A regional flood control district rain gauge showed Mount Charleston received more than 2 inches of rain between 7 a.m. on 1st of September and 7 a.m. on 3rd of September. Meanwhile, a death has been confirmed at Burning Man after thousands of attendees were left mired in mud from torrential rains and were being advised to conserve food and water as all roads in and out of the Desert Arts and Self-Reliance Festival remained shut off 3rd of September. The sprawling event is held each year in what's known as Black Rock City, in the Black Rock Desert in northwestern Nevada, following what authorities described as unusual weather conditions that produced heavy rains 1st September night and into 2nd September. The gates and airport into and out of Black Rock City remain closed, organizers said. No driving is permitted at the site except for emergency vehicles.
Don and Caesar, who both work in construction, share what they saw on the roads.
Several vehicles that we saw stalled out that were on that far right side.
I was driving my truck, and my truck sits a little lower, so my whole front fog lights and everything completely got covered in water, so the inside housing filled up with water.
And those at this towing company agree that most of the vehicles picked up only had front damage, like Gonzalez mentioned. A very different experience towing in floodwaters.
One person has died at the festival, the Pershing County Sheriff's Office confirmed in a statement 3rd September morning. The Pershing County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating a death which occurred during this rain event. The family has been notified and the death is under investigation. As this death is still under investigation, there is no further information available at this time, according to the Sheriff's Office statement. News of the death came a day after organizers issued an alarming statement to festival attendees. If you are in BRC, conserve food, water, and fuel and shelter in a warm, safe space, organizers said in a statement posted on X. President Joe Biden was briefed on the flooding that has stranded thousands of Burning Man attendees, a White House official said on 3rd of September. Administration officials are monitoring the situation and are in touch with state and local officials, the official added. Event attendees should listen to state and local officials and event organizers. An estimated 75,000 people attended the annual gathering in 2022, and organizers said they expected as many this year. The festival began on August 28th and is scheduled to run through 4th September.